As a big fan of Julius, I figured it was only a matter of time before I had to do a video on the gas mask cargos, which is probably their most popular item by far, actually. If you know Julius at all, you know them for the gas mask cargo pants. They're their most popular silhouette. They've had a big impact on like archive fashion. Today I got a couple pairs I can show you and just talk about them from like a review standpoint, but also just like fit and how I would style them and things like that. So let's get into it. All right, first pair I'm going to show you are these bad boys right here. I'll try and flash some fit pics on the screen while I'm talking about them because they're pretty large, in case you can't tell. These are a reissue pair from their permanent line from 2003, 2004. Yeah, so it says right there, permanent collection. This is something that Julius started doing just recently where they're reissuing some of their more popular stuff. So they'll do the new season collection and then they'll do reissues of old stuff. And I actually think it's really smart and cool. I could see if you're like big into archive and you don't like, there's two sides of the fence, right? There's people who, like with Raph Simmons, I think recently relaunched a bunch of old stuff that they had. Basically a bunch of archival pieces that people have really sought after and paid a lot of money for. And it kind of rubbed people the wrong way a little bit because they had spent so much money and these pieces were rare. I see that point, but also like I just want to get some of this stuff, and I think it's cool that it's a little bit more democratized in that way where people can get kind of archive pieces and they're not gatekeeping them in that way. So this is a pair just from like a couple seasons ago, like I said. I think I picked them up over the winter on a slight sale, I think from Fascinate, which if you know anything about Julius, Fascinate is your best friend, fascinate.jp. Check it out. It's a great website. They get stuff early. They do really good discounts. I should probably talk a little bit about the history of gas mask cargos. In 2008, for their 2009 collection, Julius debuted, and along with their first show, they debuted the gas mask cargo. Just want to do a slight correction here. Though that was Julius's first worldwide sort of runway debut, Julius itself actually opened in 2001, and they had been making iterations of the gas mask cargos before then. You can actually find some archive pairs on Grailed from like 04 or 06, and it's been a mainstay of their brand ever since. So for every collection, as far as I know, you will see a new iteration of gas mask cargos, sometimes multiple. They almost always do them in black. More recently, they've been doing them in black and like a waxed cotton. So that'll give that shiny look. And sometimes they'll also do them in like gray and some other colors too. The nice thing about it is now that there's the permanent collection as well, your cup runneth over as it comes to gas mask cargos. So you can check archive for older pieces. You can check the permanent collection, websites like Essence or Fascinate, and of course Julius Garden's official website will sell them. And honestly, these days they actually do tend to go on sale, so you can get yourself a pretty good deal on them. So this pair right here is a waxed cotton. You know, the hallmarks of Julius gas mask cargos I should go over a little bit are these bad boys right here. Just giant freaking pockets. Actually, this highlights something that I want to show off, which is the kind of reason they would be called gas mask is, well, they resemble bags that you would use to carry gas masks, but also, you see this button right here with this little sort of like, I don't know, little nub sticking out of it? That is a detail that you would actually find on like historical, like World War II gas masks. How do I know, you may ask? Why do you think I got these pants in the first place? I needed a place to store my gas mask. If you're wondering why I have that, it's because my wife collects weird stuff. Anyway, yeah, I mean, the almost always with gas mask pants, you will find just enormous pockets. That's kind of the hallmark of them, and a crap load of them. So like you got your main ones here, but you got little like side, like I call them knife pockets, just like it's like wearing a utility belt all along your legs. And the silhouette is very dramatic. Like they usually have very like skinny legs, not all of them. And that's actually something too to talk about with gas masks is every season the design is a little bit different, but they all share a similar design aesthetic that, you know, fits in with Julius, obviously. I would say the broad strokes of it is big old pockets on the thigh area, kind of leading to a more tapered leg as you go down. There are some that are more straight the whole way, and some that even have like bands that you can kind of tie and make the legs as skinny as you want them to be. This pair is sort of that typical classic silhouette where we got the big old pockets up top, leading to a skinnier little leg. These ones are also quite stretchy, the material. Probably won't be able to see that, but it's like 90% cotton and I think like 8% elastane, something like that, 10% poly of some kind. It's important to know when you're purchasing these what the material is. I would say definitely look that up. I'll be showing you another pair that is much less stretchy than these, and so that's going to come into a factor when it comes to sizing. But yeah, my cat is now rubbing against the wax cotton and he's going to get hair all over them. I really like the wax pairs because they have like a kind of shiny quality to them. It almost makes it look like leather, and they do offer gas mask cargos in leather. They're insanely expensive, but I'm sure you can find a good deal at some point. But, you know, it just really goes well with this kind of wet, slick, nasty look you can go for. And they pair well with like a leather jacket with that in mind. In terms of styling these, I would say, you know, they are very militaristic. Like if you go back and look at that first Julius show, not even just the first, Julius has been doing this the whole time, but they have a very like military edge to them, obviously. So you're going to want to steer into looks that kind of have that edginess to them. Basically, you can wear these with, well, let me asterisk this. I think there are some more flowy Julius fits, pieces that are like long robes and stuff like that. You can certainly wear those with Julius cargos, but I tend to find they fit better more with like the leather jackets, denim jackets, or even just like something like this. Like I'll throw a fit on screen that like basically uses exactly this. And also anybody in the Julius avant-garde space, so like your Rick Owens, any tops from that, like these are both Rick Owens pieces. Boris Bajansabiri, you know, a lot of Japanese designers. You could even probably get away with like just like a boxy tee or something, or conversely, because this is very tight, like a slim fitting, super like skin tight fitting, like ribbed, you know, something like this. But yeah, these are great. I love them. My only issue with them is, and I'll talk about sizing a little bit. If you're a fan of Julius, you probably know that the sizing is not great. It's well, first of all, it's Japanese sizing, which I always find confusing. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, Japanese people on the whole tend to be smaller than Americans. So you kind of have to like slide everything on a scale. So like a 1 in tops anyway is usually like an extra small. A 2 is like a small, a 3 is like a medium, and then a 4 is a large. And you'll be lucky if you ever find a 5, but they do have them every once in a while. I have Julius pants in mostly 2s and 1s. So I used to be more of like a 32-inch waist. I'm now more of a 31, if not even a 30. So these, I wish to God I'd gotten them in a size 1. These are a size 2. They fall off my butt. And a lot of it is due to A, they're heavy as hell, and B, they just have that very stretchy fabric. So, you know, nothing a good belt can't solve. Maybe that's Julius's plan this whole time, is they want you to buy a dang belt. I had my eye on this coolest one, and I let it go, and I can't find it anywhere now. I can find the black version. I don't want the black version. I want the silver version. But anyway, yeah, they're great, and you know, even though this is permanent collection, even though, like, I don't care. Some people, I'm sure, care. If you do care, check out Grailed. Now, there's probably never been a better time to buy gas mask cargos, because with the permanent collection, also just art, you know, resale is a little in a slump right now, I think, just with people not having as much disposable income, and they just keep coming out. I mean, it's a good time to hop on. If you have never bought anything from Julius before, it's a good starter piece. Like, people a lot of time ask, like, what's the best Rick Owens piece to get? Like, get some Ramones or some Geo baskets or something like that. I'd say if you get yourself some Julius cargos, is a good way to experiment with the brand. Just know what size. It's gonna be so hard to recommend a size to you. Check your measurements. That's the thing with Julius. You got to know your measurements and do your best, because some sites will lie to you about what the measurements are. And check measurements against the material, because again, these ones being so stretchy, size 2, fall off my butt. The other ones I have, size 2, also very heavy, but a more of a canvas material. Those ones are okay. And why don't we show those too? So this is the other pair that I have. It's a slightly different design, but very similar aesthetic. These ones have a little bit more distressing. Like I said, they're more of a canvas material. They have even larger pockets, if you can imagine. Like, if you can see that thing, like, I could fit a freaking tablet in here, possibly a small laptop. Interestingly, these don't feature that gas mask button, and not all of them do. The other interesting thing about these is I believe these are a sample pair, so you probably can't see this right there. I want to say I've looked these up before. It says sample. I say I've looked these up, and they're like I think like a 2013. I can't. It's so hard. They come out every year, and the design is so similar that it's like hard to tell. But I think these were based on a 2013 design. But yeah, these have more just this traditional. Julius uses this like donut shaped button for everything. So these just have that look. Actually, if you can tell, I replaced this top one because it came from Grailed, and they didn't have that one. Or they didn't have that button, I should say. A little bit more of distressed detailing right there. These ones are gray, obviously, instead of black. I don't know how many I don't know. Like I said, they're all different designs, so it's cool to get different ones. But I think if you're going to get multiple pairs, you want them to either be a different color or like make sure the design is worth it. There was a pair of really like slim looking ones that I thought were super dope, and I let them go. I'm hoping I can find them again. But it's like, how many giant cargo pants do I really need? Especially, and I know I've mentioned it before, but I do work in an office. I feel like this is one of those things that I got to like build up my social capital before I wear. Like if my boss sees me wearing these too many times, he's going to start to think, that guy's kind of weird. I actually don't find them particularly hard to style, I will say. They're such a statement piece because they are so big, but like they're kind of versatile in a weird way. Like, again, as long as you're wearing like avant-garde stuff, you're probably okay. Like I've worn these with geo baskets. I think they look cool. Actually, I wore these with like geo baskets and like a large printed graphic tee, like a Dare shirt or something like that, and I thought it actually worked. I mean, you might not think it worked. So again, that's why I say these are a pretty good piece to like jump in on. And again, if you're into like any kind of like austere, intense military look, like they're perfect. The other thing I'll say is that the whole like gas mask thing isn't just exclusive to cargos. In terms of like, again, that like button motif is on tons of their stuff. So I actually even have a couple other pieces here. So again, like this, I love this bag. It makes no sense at all. Every time I try and find like what's up and down, I can't. The big problem with this bag is like, I'm not a big bag guy. So like I can carry it around, but I don't really need it. But anyway, you can see again, that little nubby button right there. You could use this to carry like a chapstick or something like that. But yeah, this is an awesome piece. I got this from Japan. And then I love these boots. I actually don't want to spend too long talking about these because I'll probably make a whole video about this, or at least in my boot collection. But these are the engineer boots. A little bit of schmutz in there. Fun fact about these, speaking of the permanent collection, they just reissued these and they're still like on the Julius website right now, as far as I know. So if you like this design, check it out. These are pretty like worn in at this point, which I actually think adds to it. If you look at some new ones, they look a little more slick. But, you know, I polish these up every once in a while, just give them that nice shiny look. But again, if you can see right there, that nub button. And this actually is like a shroud. These little, let me get one, give myself an arm workout holding these up. This is like a shroud that you can remove and kind of like just take that off if you want a simpler look. But again, I think I got these again from the glorious land of Nihon from Zen Market. And I was like, there's no way these are going to fit me. I'm like a 10.5. I ordered a size 3, I think. Again, very regimented, but we don't need the same numbering system for every article of clothing, Japan. But I ordered a size 3 and they came in, and I tell you what, these fit perfectly. So at least this piece of footwear, if you're a 10.5 or probably a 10, size 3. But that's my spiel. Julius Cargos, really cool pant, a lot of really cool history. I like that the brand is always bringing them back and evolving them and using it as like a consistent motif throughout. And, you know, off the top of my head, there's some really cool, like if you go into the archive, or even again, the permanent collection is like redoing them every year. So like you kind of get a second bite at the apple when it comes around again. There's some really cool different styles that they've experimented with within the kind of gas mask form. So like there's ones that have like a bunch of those, like what I call knife pockets around like the crotch area. There's ones, like I said, that have like very long tassels, ones that you can kind of like strap around the shin area to kind of like cinch them up if you want to. But they're all cool. Again, I think they're a great starter piece for Julius, and keep your eye out because I'm working on a like history of Julius video right now. I'll talk about them a little bit more in that one. Do you guys have a pair? Do you like the silhouette? What do you guys think about the whole like permanent collection thing and like going back into the archive and redoing stuff? Does that bother you? Do you think that's cool? Does it change your opinion of a piece if it's the archive version versus the original? You know, for my point, I was thinking about it as like I have a sample piece and I have a archive collection piece. Are my pieces not legit in that way? I don't know. I think it's a classic archive piece, and interested to hear what you guys think too. Don't forget to subscribe, please, and leave a like on the video, especially if you're into Julius and like avant-garde fashion. Just helps me know kind of liking this type of video and want to see more in that content space. But otherwise, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys later.